Today, we're going to be diving into a brand new Slavic-inspired fairy tale called Ivan and the Little Magic Pony. We're going to explore its world, get to know its characters, and really look at what makes this story feel so timeless, yet completely fresh. You know, this line right here, it gets right to the heart of it. The story is built on a structure we all know and love. You've got the quest, the trials, the magical sidekick. But what makes it so different is this incredible emotional depth, this warm inner backbone that supports the whole adventure. And here it is. Check out the book itself. It's not just a story, it's also a coloring book. But don't let that fool you. This is a full-on chapter book paired with 42 different scenes you can color in. It's really aimed at readers around that 7 to 12-year-old range. So, here's what we've got on tap. We'll start with what makes this a new kind of fairy tale. Then we'll meet the two stars, Ivan and his pony. After that, we'll follow their epic journey, meet some other key players, dig into the story's inner world, and finally, wrap it all up with what gives this story so much heart. Okay, first things first. It is so important to know that this is an original story. Now, you might feel some echoes of classic tales, maybe something like The Little Humpbacked Horse, but this is not a retelling. Think of it more like it's using familiar ingredients to bake a completely new cake. And what it's trying to do is actually pretty ambitious. It uses this amazing imaginative space of a fantasy world to gently unpack some really big ideas. Things like personal choice, what it really means to be responsible, and how we deal with pressure from the world around us. And it does it all so gently without ever feeling like a lecture. All right, let's get to the real soul of the story, because honestly, the relationship between Ivan and the Little Magic Pony is what makes this whole thing tick. It's the engine for the entire adventure, from the plot to the feelings. And these pictures just say it all, don't they? On the left, you see Ivan at the beginning. He's kind of an outsider in his village, seen as a fool, just because he's a bit more sensitive and observant. You can just feel that isolation. But then, look to the right. The moment he connects with the pony, his whole world changes. And this isn't just about, poof, here's a magical helper. It's about finding that one friend who truly, truly gets you. I love this concept they use for Ivan's character, strength of softness. He is not your typical sword-swinging hero. He doesn't win by being the strongest. His power comes from his kindness, from how closely he pays attention to things, and from this quiet, clever way he has of solving problems. He leads with empathy, not with his fists. And the pony? Oh, the pony is so much more than just a ride. He's basically Ivan's intuition come to life. You know that little voice inside that points you in the right direction? That's him. He's a true friend, bringing this wonderful lightness to the story. And, maybe most importantly, he's funny. He knows just when to crack a joke to keep things from getting too heavy. And this scene is the perfect example. So get this, they've just dealt with this dangerous giant fish, and they can't get it to listen to them. So in this moment of just pure playful frustration, the pony nicknames it Whirlytail, and it works. The fish actually responds. It's just this perfect little scene of shared creativity and joy that makes the whole story feel so warm. Okay, let's talk about the journey itself, because the scale of this adventure is huge. It feels totally cinematic, like a movie playing out in your head. The story takes you on this whirlwind tour through all these amazing different landscapes. It really gives you that sense of epic scope and wonder. And they do not stay in one place for long. They start in the royal court, which is all about tricky social pressures. From there, it's off to the legendary Firebird's Mountain, which is much more a journey into the self. Then they cross this vast open sea for a huge moral test, pass through a haunting ghost town full of memories, and finally, they face the ultimate trial, the cauldrons. Each place is a whole new challenge. And then you get to this scene. Wow. This is the big climax of Ivan's trials, and it is pure visual drama. You've got these 3 cauldrons, one boiling hot, one freezing cold, one with boiling milk. But here's the thing. This isn't a test of strength. It's a test of faith, of heart, of finding a balance between extremes. It's this incredibly powerful, transformative moment for him. Of course, it's not just Ivan and the pony on this journey. The world is filled with these really compelling characters, some who help and some who, well, definitely don't. But even the classic fairy tale archetypes here feel complex and real. I really want to spotlight the two main female characters here because they both show strength in such different ways. You've got the princess, who is absolutely not a prize to be won. She's in charge of her own story, full of agency and dignity. And then there's Yasna. She's like the steady, wise, grounding force in the story, the calm adult presence who helps people make sense of their past. And even the main bad guy, the Tsar, is more complicated than you think. He's not some cartoon villain cackling in a corner. His motivations actually make sense. He's worried about keeping his power, he's listening to bad advice from his court, he's insecure. He's an obstacle, for sure, but he feels like a real, flawed person. So with all of this epic adventure going on, the quests, the court, the magic, what is this story really about? Well, all that outer journey is really there to serve the story's true theme, the journey we all take inside ourselves. And this quote just nails it. The book doesn't pretend the world isn't complicated and messy. It is. But the big message here is that the answer isn't to get bitter or cynical. The answer is to stay true to who you are and to find your people, the ones who see you and have your back. The story even gives us this gorgeous metaphor for navigating our feelings. These three mythical birds. There's Siren, the bird of sweet sadness, who reminds us it's okay to feel sorrow. There's Alknost, the bird of clear joy, who helps us find peace. And then there's the firebird, that living light that represents chasing your own truest dream. It's like a beautiful poetic map for your own heart. So, wrapping all this up, what do you take away from this book? Who is this story really for? It doesn't leave you with a simple moral, but more of an invitation to a certain kind of reader. Look, if you're someone who loves fairy tales, but you're ready for something with a little more substance, a bit more depth, this is for you. It's for anyone who wants that thrill of a grand adventure, but also wants it wrapped in this constant, reassuring feeling of warmth and inner support. So I guess the real question is this. Are you looking for more than just an adventure story? Are you maybe looking for a journey that's just as much about exploring a magical world outside as it is about exploring the wondrous world inside yourself? I think after everything we've seen, the answer is a pretty clear yes.